Hello and welcome back to Loresworn Chronicles, Crusader Kings II, where we are playing as the High Chief Akko of Curonia in the Holy Fury expansion. Before we continue, we've managed to conquer a good little chunk of the Baltic coast here. We actually own both sides of the Daugava estuary, which economically would have been quite a boon, although these guys up here in Saaremaa, which is Ussel, later on in the timeline, would potentially have been able to halt our trade or enact some piracy on us if they so desired. So one thing I want to say quickly before we move on is bring to light the fact that the last couple episodes we've been doing things that are pretty much taken for granted in Crusader Kings II, but if you really think about it, we've already pretty much behaved like right bastards. We started out with these two little counties. We had our little tribe here. We were kind of doing our own thing. Everyone around us was kind of doing our own thing. And we have, through military force, through violent action, just really for the sake of ambition and, possibly, accumulation of wealth and prestige, have forced this guy to obey us. We've kicked the guy who was ruler here out of his land, without really consulting anyone who actually lived here about what they wanted necessarily, and made this our land. We're starting to see kind of the theme I brought up at the very beginning, which is that in order for us to even survive, to even have a pagan country in Europe by 1821, we kind of have to become the very thing that we are ostensibly, we haven't met them yet, but are ostensibly going to come to hate, which is these Romanized imperial monotheists. We have to remake our society to be a little bit more like them, a little bit more like we want to have everything that our neighbors have, because if we just stay a disorganized patchwork of tribes, which is kind of what this area was by the time the Northern Crusades hit it further down the timeline, there's not really a lot of chance of survival. I mean, I guess, CK2 could implement something sort of like the native federation mechanic in EU4, which we'll definitely talk about when we do our next native series in EU4, where maybe you could have like a more lateral confederation of independent pagan tribes out here, that could potentially be a slightly more justifiable way of going about it. But, in CK2 as it stands, and as was kind of the case in real history a lot of times, we find ourselves in a position where it's like you either have to become an empire or get conquered by an empire, which is, it's a very strong ongoing theme in world history. And that's kind of the paradox of no pun intended, of the sort of position these societies found themselves in. Either they'd be conquered by an outside imperial power, or one of these tribes would decide to convert to Christianity and then be told, hey, you guys now just basically have free hand, and we might send you some money and soldiers to go conquer all the pagans around you who don't want to do what you just did. And so, yeah, we're basically going to have to play as a very hungry expansionist power that doesn't really give much thought or care to the sovereignty of anyone around us, to achieve our goal, which is to have a pagan ruling class still in power in a major powerful kingdom by 1821. So yeah, it's something to think about. I mean, I'm not saying I want to ruin your fun every time you play Crusader Kings now. It's a game about conquest. We play these strategy games for fun, but it is an interesting thing to think about, especially if you're kind of an RP-centric player. It's like, okay, how are we really any better if this is the strategy we adopt? But then if we don't adopt this strategy, we're basically on a straight path to game over. Maybe that tells you something about human history and the kind of societies we've built for ourselves. So what I've decided is I'm not going to disband these troops. I'm going to ransom some prisoners, which is going to give us just enough money that we'll be out of debt and we can declare war again. In the meantime, I am going to duel this guy that the society wants me to duel. And we're going to continue right along here. Jeditus has chosen to accept your challenge to personal combat. The duel will take place in the next few days. Jeditus charges at me and has soon managed to smack his wooden staff flat across my leg. The crowd does not seem impressed by my effort. So we actually lost the duel despite having a much higher personal combat skill than him. And we are wounded. Arg, by Dievas, that hurt, man. First person to ever best us in single combat. Tales of your misdeeds are told from Ireland to Cathay. I accept paying your ransom. He wouldn't know what Ireland or Cathay is, but that's alright. Oh, our event troops went away. Well, I guess that gives us some time to collect our bearings. Let's upgrade these training grounds. And let's see. I think we want to start conquering south now, because we want to get these two holy sites relatively quickly. So I think we're going to count a conquest for Samogitia, we're going to count a conquest for Memel, and then we'll start screwing around up here a little more while we wait for those truces to expire. So the chief of Samogitia is currently a 3-year-old child. His regent is the guy we just lost to in a duel. How about a real rematch on the field of battle? Oh, we could force vassalize him. He's weak and in need of protection. They'd be better off in our realm. Interesting. That would be good. Because we'd get him under our thumb immediately. I kind of like that. Which brings up an interesting question of, like, okay, if we're thinking social history, if we're thinking people's history, if we're thinking people on the ground, one, does it matter at all? Two, is there a more ethical, just purely hypothetical here, is it more ethical to subjugate the existing ruling class under our ruling class, or to kick them out and to make everyone accept us directly as a ruling class right now? That's kind of an interesting thing to think about. I think subjugation is actually better, probably. I mean, 2 people on the ground to random tribesmen that are just fishing and farming, and, you know, they have to pay taxes to someone who doesn't probably give a crap about them either way. It probably doesn't matter that much, but the continuity and maintaining possibly cultural traditions that this kid's dad might have left behind some people to instill in him, that might be a little bit less disruptive to the people on the ground than to just kill or kick out their existing rulers and be like, it's our game now. Now, if it's a really tyrannical or horrible ruler, it might be better to just get rid of them if they're like abusing their people. But let's see. So we have a kid. His regent is stressed, wounded. He is cruel. He's also content, chaste, diligent, and brave. So his cruelty might be coming out in such a way that the peasants here are being mistreated. But yeah, we'll consider that when we actually write the wiki for the fake history of this fake amazing world. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna force vassalization on him, since we have the opportunity to do so. He's not gonna have any allies come to his aid, and we're gonna try to see. All right, who's gonna get there first? 25th of February, 1st of March, 26th of February. Okay, so Akos should be leading this army. The army that arrives second will get our second best general. The army that arrives third will get our third best general. Speed 3 at war. Since the duel, I've been practicing a bit with Jeditus, which we're currently marching on his lands, so that's a little bit weird. The man did best me, and I was quick to ask for any pointers. He seemed surprised at first, but today I'm proud to tell him that he's a good teacher and friend, I add. So we became friends. This is actually going to be really interesting when it's reflected in the legends that we became friends, and then we ended up kind of fighting. This is almost sort of like a Three Kingdoms scenario where there's like a boy king, and there's his protector, and then I think I should be protector of these lands and these people, and he wants to continue having his puppet. Yeah, that's a cool little tidbit there. Members of the Band of Medina, we strive to better ourselves and each other. Okay, so now he wants me to duel Gedimnas Sharptongue, who is the marshal of the Yatavingians, who live... where are the Yatavingians? Oh, they're down here. Okay, they're actually pretty powerful. I believe they're Slavic? Oh no, they're Lithuanian. Okay. Let me get a good shot of where Yatavingia is here for the Chronicle. So when we're writing up the wiki entries on Akko's travels around the Baltic, we'll know where he was headed. All right, we'll go ahead and we'll accept that offer to duel. Oh, and we can rank up. We can rank up to a veteran. Fantastic. Already a veteran by the age of 23. I mean, we did cheat and give ourselves a God King, but hey, in my book, that's fair game. All right, I'm trying to screenshot all the battles. I've forgotten a couple of them, but all right. So these guys are headed to Memel. I think we can catch them there. I love that they added the movement lock to CK2 now. Like I exploit that so much in EU4, as I'm sure you know if you've watched my EU4 videos. All right, so we are now a veteran in the Band of Medina, which gives us Inspire Warriors. We can right-click on a holding to instantly refill its garrison. We can sacrifice wealth and blood to divine patrons of the lodge in exchange for prowess in battle. And we also get the unique to our religion Baltic holds by clicking on a holding for Romuva rulers to request help from the warrior lodge to fortify their castle and tribal holdings, which will be very useful if we ever get attacked by Christians in the future. So let's see. We lose 150 renown, and we gain a wooden hill fort. Okay, so it basically gives us free fortification buildings. That's cool. I'm not going to do that yet because I want to make sure we get to hero as quickly as possible, because that gives us the very powerful Indomitable, which means we cannot die when leading armies. Which is really good. We can still become incapable and from a blow to the head and die from that, but we're also, because we're part of a warrior lodge, we're less likely to get that event too. So, warrior lodges are pretty powerful. Not bothering to call in my vassals. We're able to win all of these wars pretty easily with our domain troops. I'm even confident enough to go up to speed 3. Also, we need a new designated regent. I always sort by diplomacy. I try to get a good balance of diplomacy and stewardship. She's craven, so people aren't going to respect her. So I'm going to make my other concubine my designated regent. And we also need another couple commanders. Make sure they're not craven. He's a drunkard, but why not? And if this mofo dies in battle, that's all the better for us, so... I think I just saw my Chancellor improve relations with himself. Naula has been going around Kurtzema for a few days now, praising me as one of the wisest rulers Curonia has seen in decades, knowing that one of the... Okay, so another elder giving me huge amounts of prestige. Finally, the monument is finished. It turned out just as you envisioned it, or perhaps even better. To celebrate its completion, a grand ceremony was held in... House Penekis's honor, and what a great ceremony indeed. Tales of it will be told for as long as the monument stands watch over Kurtzema. Never has Kurtsema or Kirona seen such a display of greatness. We have prestige falling out of our ears. And it looks like we can just go ahead and finish this war. Alright. So we have a new vassal. I'm going to educate him so that he will like me. The boy will be my ward. And make sure, I want to get a screenshot of that. I guess I don't become his educator yet, but I'll just remind myself that this screenshot means that I assign myself as his educator. Hopefully. To the level-headed Blade Master High Chief Akko. Staying idle is not in a warrior's blood, so this guy, whose father, I believe, slept with my wife, and I hated him, but looks like we get along okay. Wants our help against... who's he at war with? The tribe of Polotsk. Is he the defender or the attacker? Okay, so these guys are trying to subjugate our neighbors, so we actually do... It's definitely in our best interest to get involved in that. Not just because he's a member of our warrior lodge. So let's march to help these dudes. Oh, and I'm going to take a screenshot of our new borders now that we've subjugated more of the world. I'm purposely not looking too much at the outside world yet, because to fit the tone of the series, I want to keep things feeling local and kind of intimate and tribal, and also because we don't really have a lot of interaction with those other parts of the world yet. So I'm almost considering everything outside the Baltic zone to be terra incognita at this point. We will learn about the affairs of the rest of Europe at some point when they start sending missionaries to us and we can ask them questions. That's part of the RP. So, okay, there we go. We have accepted the guardianship of Chief Taudvila of Samagotia. So the Samagotians are now part of our tribal confederation, which is becoming less and less of a federation and more of an organized state all the time. The council would not vote for this. I'm wondering if we can sway any of them. He would vote no. He would vote no. So let's see. Can we buy a favor? 80 gold. Also 80 gold. Okay, so we're going to have to pay off one of these guys. We're basically going to have to give him some treasure from our treasure hoard from raiding in order to get him to see things our way. Each swing of my bare hands has sent me deeper into enemy territory. Before I know it, I'm surrounded. With a burst of energy, I roar loudly. This is going to be part of the legends. Causing a few of them to hesitate and one unfortunate soldier to stagger backwards, tripping over a rock. I can't help but notice that he drops his weapon into the dirt. Yeah, we'll pick up a short sword. It'll give us a little bit of our first artifact. Personal combat skill plus 15. That's actually pretty good. A weapon which, according to legend, was stolen from the hands of a frightened Ilmenian officer. After the battle, High Chief Akko treasured this bounty, allowing it to serve him both in battle and conversation. Okay, so it's a masterful short sword. We're going to call this... we're going to name this, actually. This is going to be called the Wolf's Claw. And hopefully be passed on for many years. That's actually very good stats. That's going to bring our personal combat skill up quite on par with some of the best. Okay, so we have our daughters. I think I'm going to train them in etiquette. Yeah, because I kind of want them to be spies and marriage tokens eventually. All right, we captured the High Chief. We're not going to sacrifice him. Oh, no, wait, this isn't even our war. So yeah, we should sacrifice him. Boom. That will cause the war to not end as quickly, but since it's not our war, I don't care that much. Count Hannes thoroughly hates me by now and likely wishes me dead. The feeling is, of course, mutual. Yeah, we're going to become better rivals. How can I rely on my generals when their understanding of warfare is so lacking compared to my own? We're going to teach our dude here to be a more inspiring commander. He's accepted my lessons. We are victorious. Let's cross the river and sack their capital. Let's see. They could get there on the 16th of January. We would get there on the 21st. So we'll be crossing the river, but I think it's worth it. Okay. Invite to plot. So Elder Eva wants to kill my wife. Don't do that. I would prefer that you don't do that. What's her plot right now? Why can I imprison her? Oh, probably because she slept with someone else. Let's see, etiquette for my daughters. Man, all these disease outbreaks. Let's see. I'm gonna resist my foul impulses to torture people. I think that's pretty good thing to do. Alright, we're gonna cross the river and hook around to attack them without the major crossing. Svenderog is no longer my marshal. I'm assuming he died. Didn't really tell me what happened to him, and I didn't click on him, so... Vishley not only has 22, but he's a loyalist, so that's extra good. Let's see, we don't really have any other great commanders. So let's do this. Let's do search all. I'm going to look for men who would join my court with a high martial skill. I want my religion. Yeah, looks like you would make a great commander. Sklavia. Awesome. Welcome. Another character that might show up in the legends about Chief Akko. Alright. And that looks like the end of that war. So I'm going to go ahead and stand down our armies. We actually have a significant amount of cash now. Countess, Nisha. Let's maybe search for a smith. Summon a lodge commander. Yeah, I think I might summon a smith. We shouldn't even be able to compose a book yet. These cultures were not literate at this point. Historical immersion mod or whoever, get on that. It's probably already in there. What was I gonna say? Okay, so yeah, now that we have some money, I'm gonna put some of these on important. Hold a great tribal festival. Yeah. I'm gonna search for a smith. We already have a nice weapon, so I'm just gonna try to get a good set of armor. I'm also going to see how my training grounds are doing in the capital. Looks good. Okay, so we won the war. We could hold a great tribal festival, but we're not going to have enough money after we pay the blacksmith. Decided it might be profitable to take some time and resources to try and seriously hurt my sworn enemy. Count Johannes is an unbearable pestilence upon this world, and I will not rest until I have made his life a living hell. I can spread false reports to his spies. Compromise spy network, which will reduce his plot power defense. I'm not planning to kill him. I just want him to be miserable. General opinion -20 would be nice. Oh, I can make him stressed. Nice. I like that. Alright. I'm gonna wait until I get my armor. So we found a remarkable armor smith. Let's bring him in. I'm in need of protection. Please make me a sturdy set of armor. Craft me something of high quality that I can bring with me into combat. Alright, so this is who? Someone that's in my dungeon. Great. Let's ransom all of our prisoners. There we go. Okay, we got training grounds. Elders decided to share a few barrels of mead to the entire congregation tonight, challenging his fellow warriors to see which one among us will be able to drink the most without faltering. Alright, let's do it. Several recruits have accepted my challenge at the mere mention of free mead, and soon the main hall is filled with cheering and clashing of tankards. Servants bring in the first barrel, while we find a place at the long table, eager to start. Despite my best efforts, Longcog Veni is relentless. This dude. In the end, I am unable to even raise my arm to drink anymore on the table, conceding victory. 50 renown. 3% chance of drunkard. Okay, I did not become an alcoholic. Arm wrestling challenge. Many important warriors have gathered in the lodge tonight in order to celebrate the recent hunt. I've barely joined some of my friends in the festivities when Chief Ringaudas barges in, claiming that he is twice as strong as I am, and challenged me to an arm wrestling contest to prove it. You are on. You are on, little man. Ringaudas and I sit in front of one another, preparing ourselves for the game. Put our arms on the table while a third fighter holds our fists still. The crowd around us chants a disjointed countdown and cheers as we start pushing against each other. Slowly but surely, Ringaudas is gaining ground. Inch by inch, he is pushing my fist closer and closer to the table. I'm starting to lose breath. My face is red and covered in sweat, yet I still cannot manage to push back against his grip. I might simply not be strong enough to win this match. So I can cheat, which I don't think I would do because my character has the honest trait. I'm going to try anyway. With a loud thud, I slam Ringaudas' fist against the table, earning a shower of cheers from the other warriors gathered around us. My opponent glares at me and mumbles something about accepting defeat as he rubs his hand. I can spit in his face. I'm just going to say don't be too hard on yourself. I'm going to be a gallant winner here. Alright, how's that pseudo-armor coming along? I've encountered veteran Yaugutis many times while carrying out my duties for the Band of Medina. It's always a pleasant occasion. Yeah, we'll be friends. So yet another friend of mine. And he is a Prussian. Interestingly enough. Alright, I think this is friendship. Let's see. Keep on upgrading our training grounds here. Alright. Master Russen's main assistant has finally brought me the finished set of armor I've been waiting for. It is a beautiful and elegant set of armor. I'm excited to see it goes beyond my original expectations. Excellent. So I am going to call this... Akko's chainmail armor. That will hopefully be handed down through the generations. Excellent. So that is going to do it for episode 3. Be sure to subscribe and click the notification button. Like, leave comments, all that stuff. Engagement helps this awesome series be found by new people who will hopefully enjoy it as much as you guys are. You can follow me on Twitter. I am at AsaTJ. That is ASATJ. And we will see you next time.